But anyway, yeah, let's talk about Claire and Owen. So you talked about how, they're not really the best fit for parents, and I think that was intentional because like I'm just thinking about in the first Jurassic World how Claire felt unprepared even with her two nephews, you know? So it's like her being forced into this parenting situation probably, she's probably not the she's not the best prepared, she's not the most prepared. But it's just like I felt like that could have been a nice little commentary they could have done, to call back to the first Jurassic World, but not really. They don't ever mention her nephews at all. Oh, that's another thing. What
Yeah,
happened to her sister and the boys?
I know.
You know? Did
Wouldn't
they
they like call and be like, "Why is there a triceratops on my swing set?" You know, like
Right, right. Just like we don't see them. Like, what happened to them? Like, are they
yeah,
safe? Are they in danger? Did they move? Like, what happened?
yeah,
So, I just don't understand that. But anyway, I thought Claire. Honestly, I liked Claire the most in this movie. I think this is my favorite performance of her out of the three films. I felt like she had probably the most to do. Um, she didn't feel as like inconsistent or dim-witted like the previous two movies, or just like oblivious to stuff going on. Like she actually had important stuff to do. She felt more likable. She felt more understanding. And she when it came to her action set pieces, like she pulled it off really well. Bryce Dallas Howard is an action star and a director, man. Like the stuff she's doing with Star Wars right now, from a direction standpoint, I'm just really impressed by her. I love
I
Bryce.
loved her so much.
So cool.
Yeah,
Um, and then Chris Pratt is Owen. He's fine. He's fine. It's weird because like it feels like as we go
oh,
through. Oops.
I dropped you.
Good job.
Thank
Um,
you.
but
Okay, there we
I
go.
feel like as we go through the Jurassic World films, Bryce Dallas Howard's character progressively gets better, and then
Yeah.
Chris Pratt's character progressively just gets meh. So it's like he's not bad in this, but it's just like I didn't really feel like there was any moments where he stood out as a character outside of his action set pieces. Really, like he doesn't really change as a character, to be honest.
Mm.
It just feels like he's like he doesn't want to be in the situation, but like he does what he has to, because he's the only person that's able to like do the stuff he does with like the Raptors and stuff like that. Like he's the most knowledgeable when it comes to that, outside the legacy characters, of course. But I mean, they worked off each other well as always. Like I said, I'm glad to see them together in this movie.
Yeah.
Action set beats are good. But what really was just like like I don't know, say confusing is the word, but just like something just didn't feel fulfilling. Was just like I just not understanding his relationship with Blue anymore. I just don't like what are they just don't care about each other anymore? Like do they like what? I don't know. He was more than willing to let Blue die in the last movie, but like now you're feeling some sentimental.
I keep dropping you. I'm so sorry.
Please take the time to make sure that is secure.
No, it's secure, I swear. I just keep shifting and it's just ah.
Don't make any sudden movements.
Okay. I promise I'll be. Oh my goodness. I have you
Oh boy.
propped up against my makeup box, so.
Oh, see, that's the magic of camera placement, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Like you never
I
know.
do have tripods, but right literally over there.
Yeah, you probably
So
should use it. Go, why don't you go get it?
I don't want to. This works so nicely
Does
until now.
it?
Oh my goodness. Oh, we have fun.
Yeah, lots of fun. So it's like I don't know. I'm just not understanding their relationship right now. Like, I mean, as I said, you were fully willing to let her die in the last movie, and now you're going out your way to save her baby. Um, oh, let's talk about that real quick. Blue has a baby, which they did think that was gonna happen, but genetically modified dinosaurs, you never know what they're gonna do now.
Yeah, they did like explain it, right? They used like a certain lizard DNA
Right, right,
that, and those lizards didn't need no man to
right.
they didn't need a man to
They need a man. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, little beta. That's a nice little name, beta. Um, cute little raptor, I guess. Um, yeah, not much to say about it. It's weird. Also weird that Blue doesn't really play a huge factor in this movie either, even though she was very important in the first two movies, but now she's just like a supporting role, just to be like, you better get my baby back, and then we don't see her again until the end. So just like, okay, wow,
Yeah.
you really downplayed her character, didn't you? Because like Blue is now a character, she's not just a monster. Like they actually established her as like a main character in these movies.
Which is crazy. It's kind of weird. Like, and I was like noticing that like in Jurassic Park 3 there was a lot of like personification of the like velociraptors in particular.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking like I liked that more, and I think it was because maybe they used the animatronics instead of and more practical effects rather than you know just CGIing a bunch of dinosaurs and like animating them.
Mhm.
But I think I think the practical effects helped kind of establish some sort of like animalistic kind of behaviors. Like we're observing them like we observe animals at when we're watching them
Yeah.
in the narrative. But like with this, it was like I was watching like I don't know, like some, it was actually like a mom coming to see her kid, like some like cartoon, like afternoon special type of thing.
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Yeah, she's like, she walks into the school bus and she's like, doing the raptor thing, like tapping her little claw, and then she's
Yeah.
like, "Where's my kid?" And then her kid pops out and she's like, "Well, where you been, silly?" Like it was so like it was so like human, and I didn't really like that. I don't know. I just thought I like dinosaurs acting like they're dinosaurs, and it was just a bit too human for me. I
What
don't
did
know.
what did I warn you, Shannon? In the Jurassic Park sequels, I kept telling you, especially 3. It's like they're acting a little too human right now, but
Yeah.
you're like everything's fine, and then we get to the world films, and it's gone completely
But
nonsensical.
again, I loved how they acted with, in Jurassic Park 3, because, they were so smart, and they were meant to be so like genius level type of intelligence. Like they were meant to be really like intelligent and communicative. So they were kind of like hovering the line a bit of getting to like a bit too human in 3, but I liked it, and I think that using the practical effects kind of helped because the movement was kind of still established as like this, they were still like velociraptors in that sense. um but with this one, they were animated too well. They were too just they were too human. Is just kind of uh my opinion of it. Even in Jurassic World, the 4 raptors, they were, we had a moment where like Owen convinced Blue and the rest of the raptors to go against the Indominus,
Mhm.
um, and go back to their companionship with Owen.
Mhm.
And even then, it was kind of like they had this short like you have a moment of the Raptors like turning back against the Indominus, and like Blue said something to the Indominus, I guess, that the Indominus didn't like, and the
Right,
two
like
just
even
smacked. But like it was still like it still felt like we were watching animals communicate with each other, and this one was just like she just came back from the grocery store and she needs help putting away the yogurt,
Right. So
which
I'll
was
even take.
a dream I had actually, but
Wait, you had a dream about
I had
that?
a dream about a velociraptor shopping for yogurt. I'm not gonna lie, but we don't
All
have to
right.
talk about.
Yeah, you ate too much sugar before going to bed.
I did.
But I'll take it even a step further. Going back to the first Jurassic World, you talk about when the Raptors were communicating with the Indominus. Like there were definitely other moments where like they felt a little too like human. Like when the Indominus is like reacting to the T Rex like coming in, he's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And then it's like when he's about to like when he got the T Rex pinned, he's about to snap the T Rex's neck, and then he looks and then he hears Blue coming to the distance, like, "Wait, who is that?" And the raptor comes in, and
It was
then,
like, hey you,
"Hey,
and
you!" It's
the
like,
raptor.
"Huh?" And then to top it all off, when the T Rex and the Raptor has the Indominus cornered by the lake, and then out of nowhere, the Mosasaurus comes in, jumps out like a cartoon, is like, "Ah, that's my food today." Ah, it's like, what the?
Even then, it was like it was hovering over the line,
Right.
completely over the line in this last
This
one.
one,
They were
yeah.
just people.
People.
Like these dinosaurs, a lot of these dinosaurs were just people.
People. Yep, that's what they are. They are literally Hanna Barbera animal characters
Yup.
borderline. But you did talk about the practical effects lightly. That just another positive once again. I said like the effects in Fallen Kingdom finally caught up to the effects in the first film. It's even better in this one. Like they use so much practical effects in this movie and the mixture of CGI. It was so great that they went out their way to have more practical dinosaurs again. So I was very happy about that. The effects of this movie were outstanding. So that's one of the few huge positives I can get to this movie. The dinosaurs look great in this. But yeah,
Where
as you
was the
said,
practical effects?
oh well,
I
good question,
saw a lot of
huh?
yeah. I I'm not sure. I saw there were a lot of CGI dinosaurs. I'm just gonna hold my phone for now.
I told you to put it on a tripod.
I know it's over there.
You can get it at any time, though.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
all
too old
right,
for that.
all right. Be more difficult, but but So there were practical effects when there were dinosaurs in I think there were dinosaurs in Biosyn. They had like little dinosaurs. Be practical effects in there. In the
Oh yeah.
yeah, in the when they were in France and they were in that I'm trying to remember what it's called. The market. Yeah, the market for the dinosaurs. There was a lot of practical dinosaurs in that. Um, there was some CGI practical transitions with the Raptors, with specifically Beta. Um, and then there was a practical. I think there was a brief practical effect with one of either the T Rex or the Giganotosaurus. That's what it's called, the Giganotosaurus. We will
I
talk
kept
about
calling it the yeah Gigana
Giganotosaurus.
Giganotosaurus. I thought it was always when I was a
Or
kid. I thought it was always
Giganotosaurus. Yeah.
yeah. I always thought as a kid it was like Giganosaurus or something. So I
That's what
just
I was kept calling it. I was like
yeah
Gigantosaurus. Like really?
yeah.
That's what it's called.
The
Because it's a giant
Godzillasaurus.
Godzillasaurus. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, there was a bunch of practical effects in this one. I guess I'm one of those people that like notice practical effects in CGI more than most people, so I'm able to point out when the practical starts and when the CGI starts. But but
In
hey, it's
in
good on you when you didn't even notice.
yeah. No, in
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3 it was apparent. apparent.
Oh, it's very apparent. Like it
It
went from
Chuck E.
animatronic theme
Cheese level.
park to some cheesy CGI. I'm like,
It looks like
wow.
the park at Universal, the ride at Universal Studios. Like it's like it
Yeah.
was apparent. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess like yeah, they really upped their animatronic game
Yeah.
with
Great.
with this.
With this.
But
Yeah.
yeah, can we talk about like the marketplace scene and like the motorcycle scene too?
Sure. Let's get into that now.
You
So
want to?
yeah, I mean, if there's anything else you want to talk about with Claire and Owen.
Oh my gosh, Claire, queen. I love Claire.
Mhm.
Um, Owen, I would have to say he actually like. I feel like um I don't know, like the Jurassic World characters stood out to me more than the Jurassic Park characters. I feel like they had more prominent roles. They had bigger roles too. Unfortunately, because I love the Jurassic Park characters.
I mean, you
But
have to like. I mean, at this point, you kind of have to assume that the new characters are going to have more of a role than the legacy characters, because technically, this is their franchise, the world ones, and
yeah,
like the legacy characters complement them. Supposed
but
to
for that
anyway.
reason, I don't feel like I see like Owen the same way as you do, where it's like I feel like he was Owen again. He did what he had to do throughout this whole film, and I feel like he still stuck to who he was. I feel like there was consistency in his character based off of like how we've seen him throughout. And I think Claire, there was so much growth, like seeing how she was in the first one, how she was in the second one, and how she is now, and taking like everything that she's learned. I feel like there was so much growth with her throughout this whole thing that I don't understand why she's okay with Maisie walking all over her. Like I feel like there's just so much inconsistency with her relation with the parents' relationship with Maisie. There's just like that's not how Owen would react to that situation. That's not how Claire would react to the situation. Like there are just so many times where I felt that way. And even with her nephews, like she was like, in the first Jurassic World, she was portrayed as like negligent. She didn't prioritize her family. She didn't understand how to connect with them. Even like, halfway through when they were like releasing the raptors, like that scene, she was like hold hands, like, but
Yeah.
but like she became very sympathetic. She almost became pretty like motherly throughout, like at by the end of Jurassic World.
Hmm.
The way that I saw it, she became kind of like, it felt like almost like their older sister type of thing. She was very, you know, family oriented by the end of it. So I feel like she would be equipped to be a mom by the time they got to the third Jurassic World. So I feel like for both of them, they should know how to be parents by Jurassic World. And I feel like they were way too patient with Macy. They were way too like, they almost like let her call the shots in some points. And it was so like, it was so unsatisfying in
Yeah.
a sense.
It was very
So
frustrating. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. So when they were reunited and Macy was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my parents." Like, you know, I would be, if I were like in Claire's position per se, I would be, thankful first and loving first, but like I told you so second. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
why did you anyway? But
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't know. It was just it felt like there was no consequence for like the way that she behaved. I don't want to say no consequence because
I mean, they
she
tried
did
to give
kind
her
of get kidnapped.
consequences, but she wouldn't listen to the consequences anyway. But
Yeah. And like, even when Claire went to go and like um cheer her up and like have like this motherly moment where she was like, "You are the only you that's ever been," you know? And she was like, "Oh my god, that's so cheesy." Like almost like just
I mean,
undermining
it
her
is
every
cheesy.
chance
I'll
she
admit.
had.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
cheesy, but even though that was a nice little sentimental moment they had there. I was like,
She should have
okay,
said thank you or something. Yeah, she should have
right,
been like, I get what you're trying to say, but that was really cheesy. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
instead, it was like, that was so lame, you know? Like, and that was it. So, I don't know.
yeah.
It was just like, it was weird in that sense. But yeah, that three was just like, those three characters together were like weird, I think, as a family. But, Claire and Owen, I think, like, Owen stayed true to who he was from the very beginning, I think. I think there was a lot of connection between who he was in this movie based off of who he was as a character in the other movies that we saw him as. Claire, however, I saw so much, like, there's so much growth in her, and I think that they were able to continue that increased growth. I think they kind of connected some moments, like in Jurassic World, where the Indominus like had its face kind of like sticking into the garage of Jurassic Park. There was that scene. I think there was a scene when she first landed after being ejected from the plane, um, where they kind of like, I think they kind of paralleled that just a little bit too, when she was on her own and she was, problem solved on her own for a significant amount of time in the film. So um, she worked with Ellie a couple times. So I don't know. There was just like a lot of growth with her. So I liked both of these characters, I would say, overall.
I mean, yeah, I
But not as
agree
parents.
mostly, but the only thing I'll say about Owen is that I just felt like in the first movie they were able to let him have a little bit more fun, a little bit more humanity with his character in the first film. Um, and it's like his connection with Blue and the other Raptors, like it was more apparent in those. But as I said with the later films, it just feels kind of inconsistent. But as far as like
Mhm.
the chemistry with him and Claire, I do agree that they work off each other really well, as I said. Um, and it's like, yeah, I wouldn't say he's like completely not like he was in the first two movies, but it's just like it just feels like he's a lot more like cynical in this one, like a little bit more like if there's sometimes where he feels like he doesn't want to be there fully. I don't know. Maybe like it's intentional to make him feel more cynical because he's in more serious times, I guess. So he wouldn't be like as fun in this one. But it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't think he was bad. I would just felt like I probably liked him just a little bit more in the first movie, and maybe a little bit more in the second one. But I don't know. But well, actually, no, I don't know. No, not really. I probably like him a little bit more in this one than the second one. But it's just like Anyway, and speaking of the main characters for the this world franchise, Zia and Franklin came back for a little bit of an appearance. Um, and I'll say in that little bit of appearance that they're in, they are so much better than they were in Fallen Kingdom. Oh my goodness. Thank God. Um Zia wasn't like being wasn't being a bitch or a bratty in this one. And Franklin is not being a scaredy cat in this one. So I'm like, thank you. Thank you for toning them down a lot. Um and honestly, like I didn't even feel like they needed to be in throughout the entire film because it's already overstuffed as it is. So it's like I don't know. I'm fine with with the little time that they were in it. And they did play important parts when they were in it. So
Hmm.
pretty much how I feel. You feel the same way with Zia and Franklin? I know
um,
you're a big fan of Franklin in the previous movie.
I loved his screaming. Um,
Did not like his scream.
I liked them both. I didn't mind either one of them in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So, seeing them again, it was like, oh, hello. But, like, especially Zia, like, you only see her for, like, a scene in the beginning. So I remember like we were like an hour and 45 minutes into the movie practically, and I was like, wait, where did Tia go? Like, wasn't she in this movie? Like, I thought she was
Right.
just gonna pop up like instantly to help or something. But yeah, I don't know. It was just like, yeah, I was kind of bummed to not see it. But overall, I'm kind of glad with. I wish there were. I kind of wish that there were even more, just because I'm such a nostalgic person towards Jurassic Park. I kind of wish that they had even more characters kind of popping up.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
really?
Especially because like if this is taglined as the epic conclusion, I would think that that will be the right time to bring in previous characters, throw in the nostalgia. That's why I enjoyed the Rise of Skywalker more than a lot of people. Because I know a lot of people had a problem with it, but it's like I enjoyed all
Mm,
the nostalgia and like the returning legacy characters. I thought they did it in a way where it was fun. I mean, it may not have been the most organic, but like still, I thought the way they incorporated it in that movie, I thought it was fine. But as I said,
yeah.
if that's going to be the last movie of this franchise, that is the perfect time to throw in the nostalgia, the legacy characters. So I agree with
And
you. I
just like
could have, yeah,
I was just gonna say, like, in just for like a short amount of time too, even like I would have been cool with that. Like, what if like, when we first saw Grant at the dig site and like he's still working with Billy, or um what if like at the end scene, the Hammond grandkids come in because they're, working, they're public figures, or like, giving talks about, um humanity, the future of humanity based off of their experience with Jurassic Park, or like,
yeah. That's
something
another
like
thing. I
that.
was wondering what happened to the kids in the first Jurassic Park. Like, what happened
Yeah.
to them? Like, are they as adults? It'd be really cool to see. Or who's the kid in in the third movie?
uh Eric.
Eric. Seeing Eric or Billy or something like that. Like, where are they at? How do they
Yeah.
react to all this happening? So
And do you remember, literally, I have like this line stuck in my head every time I like think about a Minion. But like in Jurassic Park 3, when the mom was like, I dare them to nest in Oklahoma or something like that, I literally thought about that. I'm like, well, guess what?
man, that's probably gonna happen or already has. Now, those are the
But
two characters I really don't care about seeing again, but like, I'm sure there's some people that will be happy if they did come back. And
yeah.
then talking about Malcolm's daughter and her ex-wife in Lost World, I have a thing about her when we get to Kayla in the movie. But yeah, it would have been nice to see them pop up somewhere, play an integral part of the
Yeah,
movie.
maybe just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so oh yeah, Omar Sy comes back as well from the first movie. Um, cool. It was cool that he played an important part when it came to the market sequence. So I thought it was
Yep.
cool. Though it was strange that where they left him off because you had that whole chase sequence with that one blonde girl that works for Dodson that's like selling the raptors off, and like
Yeah.
Omar had her at gunpoint, but then she was about to cut herself free from, like, I guess she had handcuffs or like with ropes tied around her. She was about to get cut free, but then we don't see what happens after that. Like they just
Doesn't
abruptly just go to you know
Didn't she like point the the laser at him? The laser signal at that time?
did did they? I mean, I do
Yeah, and then she
remember.
ran away and all the dinosaurs came out,
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
like the
you're right. You're
raptors.
right. And
Okay.
then there was that whole thing of like they did that similar to what they did in the first Jurassic World, where it's like they were trying to aim the raptor to like go after Omar, but then he gets out the way, and then the raptor goes to the cage and closes it. So I thought, okay,
Yeah.
that was pretty clever. I was afraid they were going to kill him off, You
Me
know?
too.
Yeah.
I was never I've never been so nervous for a character like ever. I didn't want him to go at all,
Right.
and I was so nervous. I
Yeah.
was like, they better not.
Better not.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was cool. Now, yeah, let's talk about one of the biggest surprises of this movie, Kayla. um, I thought she was really good. Like, she was really a standout. Like, she had a lot of personality. She got things done. She was really good at her action sequences. She's a pilot, so I was like, wow, this is a really
Funny.
good addition. Yeah, she's funny too. I
Yeah.
like when Bryce was trying to ask her, like, you know, trying to find Macy and stuff like that, and she's just like, she's just like, nope, I'm not helping you. Nope, can't do it. Get out of here. She's like, I love that. Like her timing and delivery is just like on point in this movie. Um,
Mhm.
now is now am I the only one who thought that could have been Malcolm's daughter?
I didn't think about that.
Like that easily could have been, since I mean I know people are about to say, "Are you just saying that because she's a black actress?" No, but just like
Maybe to like not add in another character, they could have made that character Malcolm's daughter too.
right. I think there could have been a more emotional attachment. I mean, even though she's still a good character in the movie,
I
but like
liked her.
there could have
Yeah.
been a more emotional attachment if that was Malcolm's daughter, and like I don't think it would feel like forced, you know. But I don't know. Regardless of that, I still really liked her in the movie. I thought she was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and is that all the main characters before we get to the legacy ones?
I think.
Think so. Okay, you want to start talking about the legacy characters?
Yes.
All
Please.
right.
I was
Uh,
like
yeah, go ahead.
the my friends like next to me, by the way, when we
Mm.
first saw Grant, they were like rolling their eyes because I was like this the whole thing. I was so excited
Oh,
to see them.
hold on, your thing's choppy. I didn't even see what you're. Hold on.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Bummer. I'll have to do it again. I was like
yeah.
this. It's kind of weird doing it a second time. Did you see me that time?
I saw you put your hands on your head like that. Like that?
And
Yes. Okay. Now, no. Okay. You were like that. I was like,
I
Ellie.
was, I was ecstatic. I was like, yeah, that's, like, and then seeing, the two of them work, the dream team, work together again, especially
Yeah.
like Ellie and Alan,
Hmm.
to see them together again. I was like, oh, my parents. I love them.
My parents.
Grew up on them.
The
But yeah.
grandparents now. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
But
But
yeah.
yeah. I yeah, I was very happy to see all of them. And it was great to see Sam Neill back. Mostly because I feel like in the previous movies they like did him a disservice because we remember that he wanted to be in Lost World, but they never asked him to come back. And then he didn't make an appearance in the first Jurassic World or Fallen Kingdom. So I know he's very passionate about that. And then even I say Laura Dern, like they did her dirty too. She only returned in Jurassic Park 3, and that was it. So it was just nice to see them back again.
Yeah.
Laura
They
Dern, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they honestly but they knew deep down, I think the filmmakers after the Lost World came out that like they really paid for that, for not having them come back for the
Hmm.
Lost World. But I think they just had a different narrative in mind, with they wanted to highlight Malcolm a little bit more,
Hmm.
I think. And um but yeah, I think everybody, especially the fans, like know deep down, like that's probably one of the reasons why Lost World wasn't as successful as 1 and 3. Um, because there was no main characters from the original Jurassic Park, so
Yeah,
except Malcolm. But
except
anyway.
Malcolm. Which, I mean, we love Malcolm, but like, he's best when he's working off the other characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so I would say probably the best out of the three legacy characters is Laura Dern. I feel like she felt the most consistent from with the previous movies. Not to say that Alan and Malcolm were were bad. It's just like I felt like Laura Dern felt like the most in it, to be honest. Like as far as like, her in the moment
Yeah.
and how she acted, yeah.
She was the most prominent character, I feel like, out of all three of them. She was
Yeah.
so important. And honestly, this was my main criticism for writing in Dr. Grant. Um this was like the biggest one. To be honest, Dr. Grant, the way that he's written from the beginning, he was like a dinosaur himself. He was supposed to like he doesn't like technology. He likes doing things the more natural way. He has a great respect for the natural world and for dinosaurs and who they were. He doesn't find any of the Jurassic Park animals to be dinosaurs. He just doesn't believe in that type of scientific growth. And he hates computers. He hates technological advancement. So to see him in this situation, he almost felt in a way useless of how but how important he is as a character to the Jurassic Park series. I feel like they really just did him dirty. And especially with Owen next to him, kind of doing the exact same and having the exact same capabilities that Owen had or that Alan has, because Alan, he was the star of the defeating the monsters and like behavior in that sense, he thrived on that. He was the expert of that. But because Owen had that background as well, they almost didn't need Grant in that sense. And I felt so bad because there wasn't necessarily a moment where there was a really cool moment where we had Alan and Owen working together to capture Beta, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was never really a moment where Alan kind of stepped up in front of everybody. He was either
Right.
equal to Owen or he was just a character who was there. And that
Right.
kind of broke my heart because he's the most important person in Jurassic Park. So to kind of see him not be that important in this narrative and to see Ellie kind of being so important, that's really great for her. And I'm really glad that they didn't do the same thing to her, because then I would have been devastated.
Yeah.
But to see him kind of being outshined by everybody, or at the very best an equal to everybody and to Owen, he just seemed so much older than he should have been. They wrote him they just really did him dirty, I feel like.
Honestly, I don't think I got to say much about Alan because you pretty much are emulating the exact same thoughts that I do.
Really?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. They did not give him the moment to shine, as you said, like they did with Ellie, or even Malcolm had his moments to shine. I
Yeah.
don't.
My
Yeah,
eyes
I
got
just.
too big when you said that. Yeah. But
That's okay. Have you seen the expressions I do on my channel? Like hey, big eyes, we welcome it.
I
But
know
yeah,
exactly what I have to say to get you to
no,
explode and vibrate.
no. We're not talking about. We're not gonna say that phrase. We're not gonna say it.
But Dwayne,
No.
they're alive, just like you. This steam coming out of your ears.
Woo, woo-sa. Woo-sa. Okay. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't remember a moment that they actually gave to Alan in the movie that was, equated with Ellie or Malcolm. Or if they did, he was sharing it with Owen, but Owen was pretty much carrying the weight of it. Um yeah, so I was let down, man. Um what I will say, what I liked, which criticism that I had with the Park movies is the relationship with Ellie and Alan. Like in the first movie, they alluded that they were going to get together, but then in three, Ellie
I
goes
think
off and marries somebody else and has kids with somebody else, and then
they
but now
were
in this
together.
it
They
went.
they were together in the first one.
Oh, they were together in the first movie. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you're right.
and then when we caught up with them in the third, yeah, she was with somebody else, and he was alone. So
He was alone. I was like, why would you do that to him, man? I don't like it. As I said, I complained about that with Owen and Claire with Fallen Kingdom. It's like, oh, they broke up. I'm like, why? Why would you
they
have
worked
a
so
scene?
well together.
Right. And the same thing with Ellie and Alan. They work off each other so well in the first
Mhm.
movie. And why would you just rip that relationship away from us? But I'm glad they got back together, in this movie. So thank you for that. So even though they had to wait till they're like in their 50s, but either way, it's fine. 50s,
Yeah,
60s, but it's fine. Um,
yeah.
but okay. Malcolm. Who interesting.
I loved him. I go ahead, go ahead.
Okay,
You
so
talk.
I'll say, I did like. I'm glad that we got a little bit of him in Fallen Kingdom. It wasn't a lot, but like it was one of my favorite parts of the movie because, as I said, he's one of the few people that's making sense in this franchise. Like if we just listened to Malcolm from the beginning, we wouldn't be in this situation. But in this one, I was kind of getting scared. Like the first time we catch up with him when he's doing that that TED talk at Biosyn, like I guess because they hired Malcolm to do stuff like that. He was acting really really strange when we first saw him. I was like, what? Why is he acting so weird? Like more than usual for Jeff Goldblum. Like he was acting very off, and I'm like, is he just not trying anymore? Is Jeff Goldblum just like, fuck it, I'm not trying it for this movie? Like it just he felt so strange. However, then
I
that was actually it was intentional. Like they did like a little reverse on us. So he was actually playing up an act, to make it seem like he's, he's not up to anything. And then he was secretly giving Ellie some information, stuff like that. So I was like, oh, wow, that was cool. I like that. Yeah, I really liked him in this movie. I thought he was great. I still felt like he wasn't fully acting like the Malcolm that we knew from the first two movies. There was some essence here and there, but it felt like it was Jeff Goldblum playing himself. However,
that's him in
he was
every movie he's in.
right. He was yeah. So he was doing his Jeff Goldblumisms more in this film, but it was still
Mm.
entertaining to watch. Like I didn't feel like it was bad like it was in Thor Ragnarok. In my personal opinion, I thought it did not work in
Oh,
Ragnarok, but
really?
yeah, I did not like him in that. But
I
in this one, yeah, I know a lot of people do. I'm one of the few crazy people that didn't like Thor Ragnarok, but that's another whole can of worms. I hope Love and Thunder's
love.
better. I hope Love and Thunder is better. But
My
like,
mom
hmm?
loves Thor Ragnarok, so don't let her hear
Oh no, I don't care.
me
I will
say
scream it from the mountains. I will scream it to the rooftops. It did
no.
not work for me.
You'll
Thor
make my
Ragnarok
mom
it did not
sad.
work for me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I wanted to like it. I really did. Taika Waititi just lost his mind with that movie. But anyway,
I love him. I like that movie. Anyway,
that's fine.
um,
That's fine. Keep liking it, everyone. But anyway, I did really like him a lot more in this. I did still enjoy him in this film. But
I
yeah,
feel like,
what do you think about it?
huh?
Yeah. You go ahead. Tell me what you thought about Malcolm.
Okay, sorry, you glitched. You came in and out for me. I'm so
Yeah, you're
sorry.
glitching too. So I'm like, I hope it, I hope it finds. No, yeah, I don't know.
No.
No, I mean, I
Oh
know
man.
I still could hear you, but it's just like your picture was just like kind of getting choppy. Yeah,
Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay.
yeah,
Um.
it's fine.
Well, okay. So for this, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I feel like he wasn't like he was a bit different than like the Malcolm from Jurassic Park. But like again, I feel like the you know the thing that we have in common, that we can see that the two versions of the characters have in common, like the older Malcolm and the younger Malcolm, is Jeff Goldblum isms. Like he, it's still him. And I think that that kind of is what really helps it. You know, and helps him remain um, Malcolm. I feel like he was a bit like awkward in this, a bit less than the rock star that he was quoted to be in Jurassic Park. um
Hmm.
he was more just like witty and cool, and I feel like with this one he was a bit geeky, a little bit more geeky. But
Hmm.
oh my gosh, was he so funny. And sometimes, like, when
He
he
was.
was trying to crack the code and the three of them are screaming in terror, and
Yep.
he's like, no one told me there'd be a
No
code.
one
And
told
then
me
he
there'd
was
be a
like,
cold.
yeah, he's like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And
Like
everyone's like
patience, patience.
screaming. Yeah. He's like, it's fine. Like, and he's like, his birthday's there. Like, it was so funny. It was so good.
That was funny. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And like, I love that. And then like, um, this scene with the flaming locust, and
Oh yeah.
instead of the lighter like in Jurassic Park, they
Hmm.
kind of like redid that moment a little bit as an Easter egg, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because
But
in
this time he
Jurassic
did
Park,
something. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say in Jurassic Park it was just stupid what he did, right? But
Yeah, it's like
like
it's
this one,
unnecessary.
yeah, and this one it was just kind of heroic, totally heroic. So
I know. So instead of throwing the branch with fire, he literally throws it into the Gigantosaurous's mouth. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's
I
badass.
know. How did it explode? Is my question. Like it was a flaming locust, and it just went like, was it full of gas or what? I don't know.
I
Was
don't
his
know.
mouth full of gas?
Effects purposes, excitement purposes. I don't
Yeah,
know. But
it was just a bit confusing, but
yeah.
it's okay though. Easter eggs in
Easter
this,
eggs,
it's
yeah.
so funny.
Callbacks.
Yeah, like the did you catch the one with Ellie in like the first scene? She was like standing up on a tractor or something, and she took her glasses off the exact same way she did in Jurassic
uh
Park.
yep, yep.
And well, when I saw that, I was like, oh, like in this one, because that scene was so monumentous in Jurassic Park, that like when she did it again, um, in in this one in Dominion,
Hmm.
and then it cut to what she was looking at, and it was just like a dead field. It was
Yep.
like, oh, you know, like
Trying to do that
so
trying to do
creepy.
that Spielberg fake out thing. I'm like, I see what
Yeah,
you did there.
yeah, but I don't know. It was like a bit anticlimactic, if you will. But I don't know. I think like there were just moments like that, like Easter eggs and stuff, that I was like, I know what you're doing. Like I caught it,
Hmm.
but I didn't like for that specifically. I didn't really care about it. But I don't know.
Yeah,
For Malcolm's, it was kind of cool.
it was cool. Yeah.
But yeah,
I wish they gave Alan some moment like that.
he lost his hat. He lost his hat. I was devastated. I was like,
Yeah. The iconic look with the hat. It's like almost as
yeah. She was like,
iconic as
forget
Indiana
the hat.
Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was, yeah, Ellie was like, forget the hat. And I'm like, no, don't forget the hat. He was so close to grabbing it. He was so close.
It's like in Lost World, they took the glasses off of Malcolm. It's like, why would you take the glasses off of Malcolm? It's like, because he's an
Yeah.
action star now. I'm like, that's
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, okay, great.
But yeah, there were some. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say there were some moments of this though that like kind of made me laugh. Like I wasn't sure if it was supposed to make me laugh. Like there was like a flaming locust that fell on the truck that they were in or whatever,
Yeah.
and they were all like falling, coming down in the car, and Ellie was just like, "Oh my god, oh my," and it kind of like made me giggle. It made my sister giggle first, but like
Oh, I'm surprised it made your sister giggle because she's like really, she has really dry sense of humor. So I'm like, I'm surprised that really okay.
and I couldn't understand why this made me laugh so hard, but like you know the ice scene when like Kayla and Owen they were like walking on the ice
Hmm.
and this prehistoric like raptor type of like it was one of the like, feathery raptors, like the more modernized idea of a raptor, I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
Right, and he was like attacking them, and like he fell through the ice, right, and then in slow motion you just saw him like shoot through the ice. I bursted out laughing at that part. I
Oh,
don't
you
know
thought that
why.
was funny?
I thought it was hilarious. I don't know why,
I mean,
but
to be fair, I don't think that bird dinosaur thing should be able to just come out of the ice like that. Like that's just really yeah. I'll come to think, but that is kind of funny. It's just like in
yeah,
Zack Snyder's slow motion.
yeah, I was like, whoa, okay,
Like
Marvel hero.
yeah.
It's like this isn't a DC film. It's chill,
Like
but
why are you doing that?
yeah,
Oh, and speaking of that, some of the action set pieces in this movie was like they're kind of like comic booky, like what they were doing with the dinosaurs. Like you were talking about that crashing on the ice, and like Lily, when when they're in France, there's this whole chase sequence with Claire on the rooftops, and then Owen on the motorcycle, and the Raptors are chasing them. I literally was getting Jason Bourne vibes from that. I'm like, they're
yeah.
like
And the
jumping
people
off
were just
rooftops.
yeah, and like the extras were just kind of acting like a lot of them were acting just like um how do I explain it? Like Midwestern type of like polite where they're like, "Oh, sorry,"
Oh,
while the Raptors were like running down the road. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna scooch you right past you there." Like
dude,
scooch right past you there. But
that's some rush hour slapstick type of set piecing right there with the extras just like reacting nonchalantly to people just crashing
it,
into their homes. Like,
right, it literally looked like one of my bad dreams. Like people were like not reacting the way the main characters were acting, and like they're like walking down the road and all of a sudden these dinosaurs are like, and I understand maybe it was like they were trying to portray it like they didn't fully explain it, I don't think, but like they had underground uh dinosaur markets or whatever, right? Like it was
yeah,
kind of like more private. So maybe those citizens didn't know that there was like a black marketed store amongst them,
yeah.
or marketplace amongst them. And like I guess that's how it was, but I don't know. It didn't. It was just kind of weird the way that like that scene played out, especially with the actors that were just like, "Whoa, what's going on?" Like I'd be like I I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yeah. I mean, I did say like, I thought they should be more creative with the dinosaurs attacking people across the world, but like this type of stuff though, it's just like that this is kind of strange cuz it's like as I said, it feels like they're trying to do like Jason Bourne type of stuff. It just feels odd just seeing Bryce Dallas Howard running on top of rooftops, getting chased by a raptor, and they're crashing through buildings like it's a spy movie. I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's an exciting set piece, but it's just weird. And then seeing Owen on the motorcycle getting chased by the raptors, and like across town. Oh, there's these two like connoisseur things, just like, oh, there it is. Oh, and then it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Like, I don't. Is it? It's cool, but I'm like, it's just strange that this is happening right now. I don't.
Yeah.
I
Did you
don't. I
also
don't know.
get like especially with like the marketplace part when you like first seeing it for the first
Yeah,
time, did you get like Star Wars Mortal Kombat vibes? Because I kind of did.
I don't know
I got
about
like
that. What
I
makes you
got
think that?
Star okay. It felt like a Moss Eisley type of thing. Like seeing the dinosaurs and like how apocalyptic everybody was like dressing almost. It looked
Yeah.
a bit too like, okay, this is a different planet and these are aliens and not dinosaurs. And um and then in the fight scene when like Owen was like going after another guy and they ended up in like a I think like a in a ring or like a pit.
Yeah.
It felt like Mortal Kombat because all of a sudden there's like this like there's a smaller dinosaur in the background just like walking around chained and he's like interacting in the fight ever so often, right? And then we have the
Okay.
two characters like attacking each other. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
It
Like
felt
you
like a bit
seen,
Mortal Kombat. Huh?
huh? Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing the Mortal Kombat. Like now when you're when you're explaining, I'm like, you know what? That is kind of Mortal Kombat-y because like you're just seeing these two guys just fighting with each other, and then like in the background, in Mortal Kombat stages where you just see a bunch of crazy stuff happening in the background and stuff like that. It's just like that's how the dinosaurs were, just like they're
Yep.
just doing their own thing while the humans are fighting. I was just like,
Yeah.
what? Okay,
Mortal Kombat vibes.
Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat best for sure. Um,